The show begins with a girl called Jentry, celebrating her 16th birthday with her friends. On their way back home, one of her friend Toki tells her that they are going to be celebrating her birthday for a week. While they chat, Jentry receives a call from her grandma named Gugu, who noticed something on her face, and asks if she should bring the cream. There are some stuff she doesn't want her friends to know about her, so she tells her friends to go, that she will catch up with them later. Her grandma tells her she has prepared some tea ingredients that can help her open her third eye, but Jentry wants her grandma to keep these Chinese supernatural stuffs to a minimum this time. While talking to her grandma, we noticed a mysterious being following her. Jentry sees a little child spying on her, and as she offers to help, thinking the child is lost, the child suddenly shapeshifts into a demon and attacks her. She shows her grandma the demon through a video call, and she orders her to run. When she got to a dead end with nowhere to run, she unconsciously brings out fire from her hand, which scares the demon. Out of anger, Jentry puts down the demon using a trash can lid. She asks the demon what he wants. The shape-shifting demon introduces himself as Edward. He reveals he is keeping eye on her for Mr. Cheng. Mr. Cheng is the devil who plans to kill Jentry and take her soul. Just as the demon talks, her grandma shows up and subdues the demon using charms. Gugu is so happy that Jentry fire powers are back. That means this isn't the first time of her using the powers. Gugu begins to pack all their luggages, telling Jentry that she will be taking her back to Texas so they can kill the devil. Gugu reveals to her that the devil has been trying to kill her, and take her soul ever since she was born. She made a deal with him to leave her alone until she clocked 16. After they got inside the plane, Gugu explains to her why the devil wants her soul. Not every Chinese girl can shoot fire out of their hands. Since those powers are tied to her soul, and the devil wants power, that's why he wants to kill her and take her soul. As the pilot announces they are now close to Texas, Gugu realizes that Jentry doesn't want to return back to Texas after what she did there. When she first discovered her powers, which is in Texas, she caused so many damages as she didn't have control over the powers. Just as they arrived at Texas and returned home after years of staying in Korea, we discover that the house is filled with ghosts, although only her grandma can see them. Gugu promises to work on opening her third eye once they kill the devil, so she will be able to see ghosts. Gugu takes Jentry to her secret lair and tells her that while she was in Korea, she has stayed in Texas doing a lot of research, and have tracked down mythical weapons from all over the world, because killing the devil is nearly impossible. Gugu shows Jentry Neja wind and fire wheels, and tells her that if she channels her fire powers into the weapon, she can use it to kill the devil. Jentry curiously asks Gugu how she can be so relaxed about all these. How can killing demons and finding magic weapons just be a normal Tuesday for her? Jentry opens up that she doesn't want all these to be normal for her. She doesn't want to start fires or fight demons, she just wants to be a regular teenager, but Gugu assures her that when they kill the devil tomorrow, she will fly her back to Korea and continue her normal life there. The next morning, Jentry enters Gugu's secret lair only to see her trying to kill Edward, the demon who tried to capture Jentry in Korea. Gugu captured it, and has been trying different mythical weapons to kill it, but Edward tells her he is a demon species called the junkies, and they cannot be killed. They are just like the cockroaches in the Chinese underworld. Talking about killing the devil, Gugu gives Jentry the Neja wind and fire wheels to channel her fire inside it, but Jentry reminds her that she doesn't know how to control her powers. Her grandma, who knows so much about her, knows her fire powers mostly ignites whenever she's stressed, so she tells Jentry to think of something stressful. She thinks of the most stressful thing and she finally brings out her powers, and channels it inside the Neja wheels. To ease her stress, Gugu takes Jentry to the best restaurant to buy her a favorite meal, sheet cake. The waiter sees Jentry, and lets her know how glad he is to see her return to Texas, but Jentry started behaving weird. Obviously she just really has a crush on him. Everything about the guy, like how he speaks and behaves, really turns her on. To Jentry's surprise, she realized Gugu didn't just bring her here to this restaurant to eat, but to also celebrate her birthday. She paid the waiters to do a birthday dance for her, which was kind of embarrassing for her, especially when her crush was watching. Gugu sees the demon from the window escaping with the Neja wheels, and excuses herself out to chase after it. Her crush meets her and asks her to take a walk with him, because his shift for today has ended. Her crush name is revealed to be Michael, and we get to find out his hobby, which is playing football. The two lovebirds arrive at a tour location, where the tour guide announces it to be a place where the daughter of the devil came from hell and destroyed the whole building with fire from her hands. Jentry gets so nervous because she knows it was her who did it, but not intentionally. She was only 5 when she discovered her powers, and due to she had no control over it, she uncontrollably set the building on fire. Luckily for her, no one knows it was her who did it. She asks Michael if he also sees the girl that caused the fire a demon. In Michael's perspective, It doesn't matter if the girl was an evil demon or something, but a lot of people in the city suffered because of her, because many homes were lost that day due to the fire. Ever since that incident, this town has been one of the major tourist center. Just as it's almost midnight, Gugu takes Jentry to the woods where they plan to kill the devil. She gives her the Neja wheels and tells her to charge it up, but Jentry just can't get her mind off what her fire powers did to the town years ago. She tells Gugu that she's afraid, because she might lose control of her powers again, and might burn down the town again or even kill her. Just as they argue, a very strong wind gets their attention, and the devil suddenly comes out of hell. The devil takes the Neja wheels from Gugu, and shattered it with his palm, and then tries to kill Jentry. Gugu defends her and she really puts up a really good fight with him. Jentry tries to summon her fire powers, but her fears is just a stumbling block. She goes to use her fist to assist Gugu, but this made Gugu more distracted, trying to protect her. Unfortunately, the devil throws a very sharp blade towards Jentry, but Gugu uses her body as shield to protect her. This kills Gugu, making Jentry to cry really hard. The devil quickly takes this moment to try and remove Jentry's soul out of her body, but Jentry angrily gains control of her fire powers, and sends a powerful blast of fire to the devil in defense. She grows much more angry that all her body suddenly turns to fire, and sends down another powerful blast, sending the devil back to hell. Jentry goes back to Gugu's dead body and starts crying again, but she is shocked when she sees Gugu's ghost. But another problem arises when they realize that Jentry, in the process of sending the devil back to hell, opened the portal to the underworld. Unfortunately, she is not able to close it in time, and a gigantic demon comes out of it. While Jentry fights with it, Gugu tries to help, but she's now a ghost. Jentry decides to ask Edward the demon for help, and whines him that she sees him as scary, making Edward blush. He goes to help and blasted the demon to pieces. He begs to start hanging out with them, instead of them sending him to the underworld where the devil is going to torture him for not capturing them. Gugu tells Jentry not to inform the police about her dead body, who knows what they might do if they see Jentry with the body. Edward decided to help them with an idea of taking the body back to their house, with no one noticing. They put her body in a baby carriage, and placed Edward on top her corpse, disguising him as a baby. On their way home, Gugu tells Jentry the main reason why the devil wants her soul. Centuries ago, the devil was just a human called Chen, who lived with his daughter peacefully. But one day, he lost his daughter and fell to darkness. He forged a pact with a deity thinking he could save his daughter, but it didn't work. Gugu tells Jentry that she has more potentials than just fire in her hand. Her powers can also open portals, defy physics, wield magical energy. The devil believes with Jentry powers, he can bring his daughter back from the great beyond. But explains to Jentry, who is eager to bring Gugu and her parents back from the dead, that bringing people back from the dead doesn't work how we want it to. Anyway, since she has already sent the devil back to hell, Jentry wants to return back to Korea so she can go on with her normal life, but Gugu is against this. She can only let Jentry go when she makes sure the devil is dead. Jentry doesn't want to live her friends just like that, and also wants to go back to school. Gugu agrees with her going back to school, but it won't be in Korea anymore, but here in Texas. The next day, Jentry starts school in Texas, but is nervous because she doesn't know anyone here. She goes straight to Vice Principal Wheeler's office, to register into the school as a new student. She is terrified when she sees that the principal has been investigating about the fire incident, and who caused it. He invites a student called Stella into his office, and tells her to help Jentry make some new friends. Back at home, Gugu invites her ghost friends to help her dig the ground to bury her body. But unknown to them, two demons with horse heads comes out from the portal Jentry failed to close, and uses her footprint to track her house. On the other hand, just as Stella helps Jentry to settle in the school, Jentry slips, but she gets caught by a really cute student. They both introduce themselves in a very weird manner, and we find out the guy is also a new student, named Kit. Jentry bonds really well with Stella, and they become besties. She also made some new friends too. At the school's cafeteria, Stella advises her not to eat the food they gave her, or she will suffer from stomach pain. Stella tells her not to worry, her boyfriend is bringing takeouts and she had told him to bring extra for her. To Jentry's surprise, she finds out that Stella's boyfriend is Michael. Jentry gets so jealous when Stella and Michael are having a romantic conversation, and this makes her to burn her spoon with fire. To avoid anyone from seeing this, she weirdly excuses herself to the bathroom and cools herself off. She opens the toilet door, only to see two students looking at her, and she nervously sets the whole toilet on fire. Meanwhile, those two demons from earlier attacks Gugu and Edward at the house, and ask for Jentry whereabouts. They all noticed a smoke coming from the school and fire services rushing there, so the demons immediately teleport themselves to the place. The vice principal safely brings everyone out of the school building, but he realizes that Jentry is still inside, and rushes in. Jentry is all wet as she already put out the fire in the bathroom, but she suddenly gets confronted by those two demons. Gugu and Edward shows up to help her. Those demons are revealed to be the gatekeepers to the underworld, and they want Jentry to face the consequences for opening the portal. They grab Gugu and try to kill her, but Jentry, who doesn't want to lose her again, goes into her flame mode. She realizes the demons are suddenly scared of her, and begin to say things to scare them more. She tells them how she mistakenly set half the town on fire when she was only 8, and threatens them that if they really want to find out the kind of damage she can do if she wants to. But unknown to her, there was a microphone in the room, and this made all the student to hear every single word she was saying through a speaker. The demons admits they are actually afraid of her, because she wields powers no mortal was meant to contain. She is a threat to her world and their world. The portal can only be closed the way it was opened, which is with her powers, and tells her to seal the portal or they will kill her. But Jentry tells them she doesn't even know how she opened the portal at first. Gugu calms the demons, promising that Jentry will fully learn how to use her powers, and they will figure out how to close the portal. Before the demons left, they tell her that the bound between her world and their world exists for a reason. The longer the portal remains open, the more suffering it will cause. After they left, the vice principal enters and sprays a fire extinguisher on her, calling her a demon, as they all now know she was the little girl years ago that burnt down the town. Later that night, Jentry assists the other ghosts to bury the body of Gugu, and hold a very sweet funeral for her. The next day when Jentry resumes school, she noticed the whole students gossiping about her, and calling her the devil's child. She bumps into Kid again, who appears to be the only one still kind to her. While they talk, Edward shows up in her school, claiming to be her cousin, and then takes her to where the portal is. Since the portal is still open, a lot of the demons will start coming from the underworld to Earth to cause chaos. Gugu tells Jentry to take a deep breath and try her best to close the portal, but Jentry restrains herself because she feels any time she uses her powers, something bad always happens. Jentry suddenly sees a vision about her parents' past. That was during the time her mom was pregnant. She saw in the vision when her dad took down a dragon and pulled out its pearls. She tells Gugu about this vision, but Gugu tells her that her parents were just telemarketers, they don't know anything about these supernatural stuffs. If she is having visions, that means someone bad wants her to, and believe it might be the devil forging those visions into her head, because he is a manipulator who might be trying to lead her into a trap. Gugu tells Jentry about an object called a shen, which can cause the visions she's having. Gugu believes someone must have hidden one in her room and begins to search for it. Jentry finds the object in her bag, and it made her to see another vision of her parents. Jentry decides to hide it because she feels her parents weren't just telemarketers. Gugu might be hiding something, and this object can help her discover the truth. To investigate more about her parents' past, Jentry goes to the playground, and makes use of the object again. In this vision, she sees her parents playing with her younger self. Her parents suddenly get scared when they are confronted by a woman holding a stick and box. They give the woman a longevity elixir which they stole from Gugu, in exchange for a huge sum of cash. The woman tries to kill them, but they manage to escape. We find out that her parents are going through a lot in making dangerous deals with demons, dragons, and Taoist priests in exchange for a huge sum of cash. They want to make one final deal with someone that is going to make them rich, then they will stop doing what they're doing so they can give their daughter a normal life. The devil shows up in her illusions, making Jentry to realize that those weren't flashbacks she was seeing, but it's just an illusion the devil put in her head. Gugu shows up and removes the object from her, bringing her out of the illusion. After a while, Jentry tells Gugu that she doesn't want to use her powers again and made Gugu promise her that they will find another way to close the portal. And that was how this episode ended. If you enjoy this show and you want me to continue, please let me know in the comment section below and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.